ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये मुनिदा जनाः। Let us resume our discussion on the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. The conversation between Sri Ramakrishna and his intimate devotees on 25th of February 1885, when Sri Ramakrishna reached the house of his intimate devotee, Sri Girish Chandra Ghosh, in North Kolkata, on his way to see a drama, Vishaketu. Many people think that the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna is a religious book, which it is, and has hardly any relevance in our practical life. These books like Bhagavad Gita, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Bhagavatam, Puran Adi are to be studied when you lead a retired life, when you have plenty of time, in a superannuated age. But it is utterly wrong. Our ancient scriptures are meant to ensure excellence in our life. It is a practical handbook for becoming successful in our life. Unfortunately, these intricate scriptures were written in Sanskrit, which most of the people are not able to read or understand without any translation. And it depends on the mood and mind of the translation to do the text torturing, to present in his own way. It is natural. Each person will see through the color of his glass. So the same book, the main strength of books are Prasthana Traya. Three main books of our very ancient scriptures. Three dimensions of books, at least we should know. Prasthana Traya. Shruti Prasthan, Smriti Prasthan and Nyaya Prasthan. Many of you must not have heard about it. Shruti Prasthan is the Upanishads, Vedanta. You might have heard about Vedanta, Ishopanishad, Katopanishad, etc. There are many Vedanta books, Upanishad books. Second is the Shruti Prasthan is eternal knowledge. It doesn't change with time. Next is the Smriti Prasthan, which is the contemporary application of the eternal truths, which is depicted in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita gives us that method of application of the eternal truth. That is Smriti Prasthan, and Nyaya Prasthan is the Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra. Now all these are written in Sanskrit. In Shruti Prasthan, it is written in archaic, very ancient Sanskrit, which is not in vogue at the moment. And similarly, Bhagavad Gita is in a language 4,000 years old, and Nyaya Prasthana is also older than Bhagavad Gita. Now, obviously, we have got commentators. The commentators wrote the commentation in Sanskrit, and later it is translated. Now, interestingly, there are various schools of philosophy, like the Advaita philosophy, those who believe that God is one and without form. They have translated these books in their own way, proving that whatever they think is the message of these books. All three books have been written in their own way. There is another school of thought, those who are dualists, they say no, God is not one, God is many. And God is not without form, God is sakar, with form. So they have translated these books in a different way. There is another clue, there are Vishishta Advaitavad, they say God is also with form and without form. They have translated in their own way. Similarly, there are many schools. These are the main three schools. So we are totally confused. One is the language problem, another is their way of thinking, and presently they are not present in the modern language, modern terms. The modern scientific youth, they don't find any relevance in their practical life, so they are lost with this valuable wisdom. Sri Ramakrishna arrived very recent age, 1836 to 1886, 50 years he lived. He presented the same truth in a simple regional language, not Sanskrit. He spoke in Bengali, a regional language, East Indian language, which has been translated in Hindi, English and all other vernaculars. And it has been presented the most modern terminology in English and otherwise by Swami Vivekananda, his chief disciple. Interestingly, Swami Vivekananda delivered the message not in India, in America, so that it becomes a global message for the entire world. And he challenged the entire scientific world in those days to disprove what he is saying. And come to the dismay, the Americans, educated Americans, they are those who are accomplished Americans, those who are scientists, famous historians. Nikola Tesla, famous scientist, everybody became his devotee by dint of his scientific presentation. So we are here to discuss the original text given by Sri Ramakrishna. The original book is Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita in Bengali, translated in Sri Ramakrishna Vachanamrit, and also universally accepted the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, English translation, which was translated by primarily by Swami Nikhilananda, whose book we are studying. He was the head of our Vedanta Society of New York. Very venerable person, disciple of Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi. He went to United States in the 1930s and lived a ripe old age. I had the rare privilege to meet Swami Muktinathanandaji Maharaj both at Thousand Island Park and also in New York City when I was there as a student. Very venerable monk, but we had very few exchanges. He also was from Bengal and I also was from Bengal, so we had a very frank discussions, not much, little. So then his book we are studying in English with the Hindi translation. Here we find in a most the difficulty with the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, it is too simple to be understood. The difficulty with the Sanskrit scriptures is that it is too difficult to understand, and here the other way around. He presents the most intricate subjects in the most modern, simple and scientific terms. So simple that we miss the gravity of the message, the depth of the messages. Herein comes our role to make it presentable to the modern youth and give an input so that they can use these valuable wisdom and become successful in life wherever he or she is. This is the main purpose of studying this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, not any other subject. Let us go to the original and trying to find out, because it is not the words of a literary person, it's not the word of a scientist or an artist. These are the words of God. Sri Ramakrishna was no other than God incarnate. As God appeared as Sri Krishna, the message of Sri Krishna and Bhagavad Gita is eternal. It's not an ordinary book. Many books have been written and gone, but Bhagavad Gita stands in its pristine glory forever. Unfortunately, there is no book with the words of Sri Rama. There is a book, Dhammapada by Bhagavan Buddha. Similarly, Sri Ramakrishna did not write a book. His words have been recorded by his direct disciple in a most simple and correct, accurate method. In order that the language of religion becomes simple and acceptable by all, Sri Ramakrishna denied any formal education. He was almost illiterate. He gave a message: to be wise, to be successful, you need not be a scholar or having any degree. He didn't have any primary education, hardly. He could hardly write. It's not that he's illiterate, he could hardly write. His handwriting was very good. And few scripts are there, but he never wrote a book. Unimaginable. But to hear his message, the top scholars of the University of Calcutta and elsewhere used to flock together and derive great messages when he was alive. And here also, after such a long time, more than 150 years, we are being amazed by the depth of his message, which is extremely relevant for us and gives us an invitation to become successful wherever, in whichever profession we are. This has been mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures, but not in a form which we can understand. If we correlate, then this real message comes in. Now, from time immemorial, it is being said that our physical appearance is not the entire personality. Though we know, but we fail to acknowledge its depth. 99% of people of the world, they think that they are what they appear to be. The form which is reflected by a mirror, that is their personality. 99% people. If anybody asks your identification, immediately take out an ID card. What does it reflect? Your complexion, your weight, your blood group, your name, your designation. The person, what is seen before a mirror. And that's why we want to make this physical body beautified, decorated, to make ourselves beautiful. Hardly we know it is only a very small fraction of a total personality. Only 20%, 1/5 of our personality is depicted by our physical appearance. I will give you a proof now. I'll prove it right now, what I am saying. Behind this physical body, Sul Sharira, we have a subtle body, Sukshma Sharira, which is not seen but felt. And even behind this subtle body, there is a causal body, another body, Karan Sharira. And behind these three bodies, we have the Atman, the source of our consciousness, source of our power. This is our body-mind complex. Now, what is the purpose of this physical body? It is encasing the subtle body. The physical body has certain organs, the vital organs, which is called Dashendriyani. Chakshu, Karna, Nasika, Jiva, Tak. These are the 5 organs of knowledge: eye, ear, nose, tongue, and skin. And there are 5 organs of action: Bak, Pani, Pada, Pai, Upastha. Our speech, our hands, our feet, and 2 lower organs. These 10 organs make our physical body. And we keep it as healthy as possible to make our duties. And behind this subtle body, behind this physical body, is a subtle body, which has different parts, mainly 4 parts: Man, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar. Physical body has 10 parts, Dashendriyani, and this internal body, subtle body, has 4 organs: mind, memory, cogitation, and decision. These are the 4. Untold, they are called collectively Man, mind. This is called Antarindriya. So we are composed of 11 organs, 10 external organs, and 1 internal organ, that is the mind. You will kindly agree, what you are today is not because of a physical strength, but because of the mental strength. Your power of cogitation, your IQ, your memory, it doesn't belong to a physical body. It belongs to the inner body. It's a subtle body, which has made you what you are today without any knowledge of the instrument. Please imagine that if you had the knowledge with you, and even now, if you can exercise the knowledge, how far can you go? You all know your physical body has a limitation of strength. You go to any gym, you will know what is your strength. And our Shastra says your mental body has infinite strength. Sky is the limit. You can go to any height, provided you know your capability and know the technique, how to make this capability active and dynamic in your life. That's why Swami Vivekananda says that you should make your inner divinity, inner energy manifested in every moment of your life. That is the story of success. First of all, the knowledge must be having this knowledge, but come to us. Very few people have this knowledge. They are born and die leading an animal's life. The animals live in the physical body. Human beings have both physical and mental body, inner. They have a dimension to achieve through exercise of mental power. Now, how to make this? First of all, the knowledge should come that I have a mind within. I think you'll all agree that you wanted a bunch of flesh. There is some consciousness within that does not sleep when you are sleeping. When you are asleep, your existence doesn't get switched off. You dream. Where do you dream? The eyes do not see, ear do not hear. Still then you have some memory that you had certain experiences. By which organ? That is your subtle organ, subtle body. So it proves that you have something else other than the physical body. And if you manipulate the forces of the internal body, you can become more successful than what you are. You have to learn the technique. How can we exercise our inner capacity in the win-win situation? So here the main factor in the inner body is our mind. Now, it was asked in the Bhagavad Gita, how can a person become successful? Who will help him? We all seek help from pillar to post to gain knowledge, to gain power, to gain financial benefit. In the Bhagavad Gita says, verse 6, chapter 6, verse 5, Uddharedatmanatmanam natmanam avasadayat. Atmaiva hyatmana bandhu yatmaiva ripuratmana. You don't have any enemy or any friend in this world. It's a very hard truth. But better to know at the beginning of the life and get it verified. The wisdom of the ancient old. We neither have a friend nor an enemy. Then how can he help us? Uddharedatmanatmanam. You can elevate you by yourself. You can elevate you by yourself provided you know how to do it. You have a mind. The mind has two roles to play. It's a dual role, mind. Either it becomes your friend or the same mind becomes your enemy. It's a very peculiar statement, but it works. Unless your mind is in a helping mood, you cannot be successful. Not only you'll be successful, it will ruin yourself. This message is given by Duryodhana. You know Mahabharata. There is Duryodhana and there was Yudhishthira. The two princes fighting with each other. Interestingly, Duryodhana, the eldest son of Raja Dhritarashtra, was invincible. Nobody could tackle him, even physically or mentally or through his intelligence. He was extremely intelligent and extremely strong. Why didn't he win? He professed, he confessed at the end of the story. Janami dharmam nache me pravrittihi. Janami adharmam nache me nivrittihi. I know what is to be done. I know what is not to be done. But I am a slave. I cannot do whatever I like. Why? Because I am a slave to my mind. I am unable to control my mind. My mind is controlling me. So I know I have the wisdom, I have the strength, I have the capacity, but I am in control by wrong controller, who is no one else other than me. It is sitting within me, is my mind. So first of all, this has to be learned. Though you have a capacity to excel, to become successful, but you must be careful about your own mind. It can either elevate you or degrade you. There are two minds, the same mind. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Dr. Jekyll was a great scientist. Mr. Hyde was a criminal. Two sides, the same personality. At night he becomes a criminal. In the daytime he becomes an inventor. It's a fiction. Same thing is happening with us. Our mind, who's helping us to become successful, same mind is trying to degrade us. How does it change color? The secret is bandhuratmatmanastasya jinatmaivatmanajitah. Bhagavad Gita chapter 6. Anatmastu shatrute vartate iti shatruvad. Vartate atmaiva shatruvad. I do not have two minds, one mind. Sometimes it behaves as enemy, sometimes it becomes our friend. Bandhuratmatmanastasya jinatmaivatmanajitah. The mind I have been able to control the mind, he becomes my friend. If I am not able to control my mind becomes an enemy. It can degrade us. So this noble, golden solution must be remembered. Though I have a mind, but let us be very careful. If mind takes the controlling agent, I am gone. If I can control the mind, I am winning. Now we have to learn how to control the mind. Because mind, when you try to control, you sit down and find how difficult it is to control. It's almost impossible. So how this impossibility can be solved? Reality. That is how to control my mind. Because if I learn the technique, then 100% I will go to any height I want to go. So that solution is being discussed in this class. The twofold method, which Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, when Arjuna complained, the mind is almost impossible to control the mind, that you all know. He says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 34, Dhyan Yoga. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramathi balabhadriram tasyaham nigraham manne vayoriva sudushkaram. Hey Krishna, when I sit down to control the mind, I find it is impossible. Why? Because it is very restless, it is very mighty, it is obstinate, and is not amenable to any reasoning. So what to do? Sri Krishna doesn't pin him down. He says, next verse 35, Asamshayam mahabhava monodo nigraham chalam. What you are saying is 10% correct. It is very difficult to control the mind, but not impossible. It's not impossible, it can be done. And the other half of the verse is giving that golden solution. Abhyasanato kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. This apparently uncontrollable mind can be controlled by twofold method, by practice and detachment. Now here he says, and both by practice and detachment. When we refer the same subject in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, here also Patanjali says the same thing. Abhyasa vairagyabhyam ta nirodha. This mind can be controlled by abhyas and vairagya. Interestingly, you find the easiest way to control the mind is to have detachment. What is detachment? We all have the power of getting attached. We know how to switch on. Unfortunately, do not know how to switch off. So when you come to the studies, we are studying something but you're thinking of something else. And you go to that place, we are thinking of something else. We are engaging in some work, but mind is elsewhere. So the effort is futile. You may read throughout the day without any result, because the mind is not within you. So having the technique to force the mind, detach the mind from other sources and getting it attached to the topic is the vairagya, which is not possible for most people. So what is the way out? Next is the practice, repetition. Now we know that anything can be possible by practice. The artists, they have to do rivas. Daily they have to sit with the instrument or the music. And a student goes on practicing when you want mathematics, you have to do the practicing. A cricketer does net practice. So we know that if do practice, then we'll gradually have a control over the mind. Having the control of the mind, job is over. So whole thing boils down to this point, that how the practice can be activated in my life. What has to be done? What is meant by practice? Practice has been explained by Patanjali. Abhyasa. Tatra sthito jatno abhyasaha. Abhyasa means that you try to keep the mind at a particular place repeatedly. When it goes away, do not lose heart, it will come back. And how it can be activated? In the aphorism 14, first chapter, Samadhi Path, Patanjali explains what is this abhyasa. Satu dirgha kala naidantena satkaro asevito dridhabhumihi. Practice means keeping the mind concentrated at a particular point. And when the mind is concentrated, then the job is over. Swami Vivekananda says, the secret of success in life is concentration of mind. The same mind becomes extremely mighty if it is concentrated. An example is given, Udaharan. The sunshine outside is fine. If you concentrate the sunshine with a lens for a little period of time, then that concentrated sun rays generate heat. And if it is kept for some time more, then that temperature comes 1600 degrees Celsius. It can burn any surface. And that's how fire is to be created in the olden time. They didn't have matchstick. This concentrated sunshine, it becomes so heated, then they put a piece of cotton and that fire is to be used. Even now, sacrificial fire is lit by this. So it shows that the mind's power which is scattered, if it is concentrated, then it becomes tremendous and take us to anywhere we want to go. And how that power can be concentrated? By this threefold method, what I said. Dirgha kala nainartena satkara asivita. That is, practice is to be done for a long time. You cannot do a practice one day and next day you do not come. A fixed hour you have to come. If you come to library and study, make it a fixed hour. Every day. Today you are coming 7 o'clock, tomorrow 10, evening 5 o'clock, it doesn't work. If you want to digest your food, take your food at a particular time. If you want to sleep properly, take your sleep at a particular time. If you want to study or do anything, any work, meditation, study, any work, if you have to do repeatedly, then you have to allocate some time. Not for a day or two, for a long period. Dirgha kala. Second point, nainarantena. Not intermittent, continuous. Nirantar hona chahiye. We do 1 day or 5 days, then you give it a gap, drop हो गया. फिर 5 दिन बाद शुरू किया, drop हो गया. ऐसे नहीं चलेगा. अगर तुम जीवन में सफल बनने चाहते हो, अपने मन को नियंत्रण करो. मन का नियंत्रण का रहस्य है अभ्यास. बस लंबा समय देना पड़ेगा, डेली देना पड़ेगा, दैनंदिन. एंड देन थर्डली, सात्कार आवाज से भी तो लगन से करना पड़ेगा. बैगाठा लगोल्ले হবে না. We are sitting, coming daily at a particular time, mind is hovering either and there. No. You have to be serious about it. I want to do this, and इसमें आपको लगन होना चाहिए, प्यार होना चाहिए. नहीं, आप करना ही पड़ेगा. निश्चय होना चाहिए, संकल्प होना चाहिए. बस 3 चीज़ अगर हो जाए, then practice will, one, way of controlling the mind is by vairagyam, detachment. If that is not possible, when you do the practice, then you gain the control over your mind. And as soon as you get the control over the mind, the mind becomes your slave. Otherwise, mind becomes your master, which is dangerous. So the only way to get away from the risk of the mind is risky. You'll find every day top that eclats of the society having default, making blunder in the moral life. Why? They have all the inputs, all the excellence, but no control over the mind. They know what is wrong. They cannot stop them. They know it will be harmful. They cannot, as Duryodhana said, he lost. So why such exalted people make such blunders in life and get lost? We cannot afford that anymore. So we have to gain control over the mind. Gaining the control, we must have a long period of regular practice with grit, with determination, and success is sure to knock over a door. We'll continue further in our next Sunday class. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampadhita vigraham vai Ishavattaram parameshamidyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namama. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. We close now with the chanting of the Lord. Please join with me. This will give us a continued soothing effect and recapitulation of what we have discussed so far. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. गाइए हरि ओम राम कृष्ण हरि ओम राम कृष्ण हरि ओम राम कृष्ण हरि ओम हरि ओम राम कृष्ण हरि ओम राम कृष्ण हरि ओम Ram Krishna Hari Om Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om Ram Krishna Hari Om